Greetings, welcome back. This is Anthony with PluckPro's Complete Guitar Course for Beginners. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a couple of riffs. And when I say riff, I mean just like a little musical phrase. Something that you'll use in a song or maybe in a solo if you're playing with some buddies. And you'll be improvising. It's something that's recognizable, that it's distinct. It's not just kind of a run-on sentence of notes. It's more of a real proper sentence in which you have either a comma in the middle and a period at the end, or just a straight sentence with a period at the end. Playing music and improvising as a musician is a lot like speaking. Nobody likes to hear a person that just runs on and babbles forever. It doesn't seem natural because normally we have to stop and take a breath. So, same thing goes to music. If I were to just play I mean, sure, I played a lot of notes and maybe think that sounds kind of cool, but it's not very musical in the sense that you're expressing something. So when you develop your own riffs or little melodies, try to express something. I mean, I will often think of a sentence, like literally think of a sentence in my head, and try to match the rhythm of the words to the notes that are on the guitar. So if I said, everybody make up a sentence, then I'll break that down into beats, basically. Everybody make up a sentence. And that went, everybody make up a sentence. So then I throw it onto the guitar. Everybody make up a sentence. You see how I just phrased it? I phrased it like I was speaking it. It's a good exercise to do. You can just make up any sentence and try to break down the syllables, use those as your beats that you're going to strike your notes on, like I just did. Everybody make up a sentence. Sounds pretty cheesy, but it works really good. And it really helps you understand the connection between speaking a language, whether it be English, Chinese, Spanish, whatever, it's speaking a language and speaking the language of music, because many people have said in the past, music is a language and it can get past barriers that our spoken language can't get past. So, keeping that in mind, let's go ahead and put together melody. On the tablature you have written out, or on the sheet music if you're using that, you're going to see this melody written out. Now, you might recognize this. That little sound right there has been used a lot. That's something that I've heard, and maybe I'm borrowing it from somebody or something, but it sounds cool, so we're going to do that. And you'll notice that a lot of stuff you'll write is going to sound like somebody else's music. We're using the same notes. It's really hard to create something that nobody else has done, so don't feel bad. Just make it your own and make it a part of who you are as a musician. So the melody we did is 5th fret B string, 5th fret E string. What I do to make it easier is I just bar them. By bar, I mean hold down both strings at the same time with one finger. Makes it a lot easier to transition. And all I did was go E, A, B, C, E, F. You'll see later when we start adding the chords to it, it's going to sound really good, and I'll explain why later. But so that's my first little phrase. Then I stop and take a breath. Then I come up with my next phrase. So I basically said the first part of a sentence, put a comma, and then the second part of the sentence with a period. Okay, next part of that was kind of like a first part of a sentence, then we're going to add on another part. So we have okay, so really what I'm doing is I'm using strictly A minor notes, A minor scale notes, putting them together in a way that sounds good. And I want you to do that a bunch of times by yourself. Just find them. It's going to be hard at first because your mind is going to just set up this barrier and say, whoa, I can't do that. But really you can. Just put your mind aside and just play notes. I mean, don't think about it. Just, that works. All I did was 3 notes over and over again. You can use that musically. So don't be intimidated by all these notes and by comparing yourself to other musicians, because you're your own musician. You're unique. Nobody else is like you. You're not like anybody else. So keeping that in mind, feel free to just go with it and don't think about comparing with your buddy that plays the guitar or with that guitar teacher that you know. Just go and do it for the love of it and have fun, and put all those little barriers aside and just say it's okay, you know, just jam, have a good time. So we'll do that melody one more time. Okay, so that was the first part of my melody, and what would sound good. And in the coming lesson, I'm going to have a special guest with me to play the rhythm, and then we'll improvise and we'll go back and forth. So you'll see how that works with chords. But for now, just have fun with that melody. If you have a buddy to jam with, have them play the A minor chord, the D minor chord, the A minor chord, and the E minor chord, and you'll see that it fits really nice together. So we covered the A minor scale, and we covered one riff. We'll do another type of riff that uses the A minor scale, and it's a little more bluesy sounding. It's not as kind of Spanish sounding. For this one, we're going to be skipping a lot of notes, and we're going to go. That's actually all the same notes that are in a pentatonic or in an A minor scale, but we're subtracting a few, and we're calling it a pentatonic scale. You may have a book, a guitar book or something, and it says pentatonic scale. Pentatonic means 5-note scale. So really, any scale that is using 5 notes is a pentatonic scale. So don't be intimidated when you hear that word. All it means is a 5-note scale. It can be any 5 notes. As long as they're played consecutively, it's a scale. So the notes that I'm using right now are C, A, D, C, A, G, E, D, A, D, C, A, G. Okay, so I just basically, it's pretty easy. A lot of blues players do that scale. It's really good. The blues sound to it. So the way you're going to put this riff together is we're going to go a slide. All I did was slide from 7 to 8. Okay, and I'll do that again real slow. What I'm doing here when I shake my fingers, it's called vibrato. And there's a lot of different techniques to get a good vibrato sound. The one I use is I roll my finger, roll the tip of my finger up and down the fretboard. Don't just shake sporadically. I'm actually rolling it like that. And whichever finger is doing the vibrato, I'm rolling my finger on the fretboard. So a good exercise to practice that is just to roll real slow with each finger. Once you get that pretty comfortable and smooth, then you can do it at full speed. So that's just a little spice you can add to your scales and your solos. Okay, so back to that riff. You'll notice that each time I play it, it's slightly different. The one that's written there is a good one for you to learn, and use that, but don't stick strictly by it. I want you to tweak it and make it your own. I want you to feel free to change it completely. Everything that I'm showing you is simply a guide. I don't ever want you to just say, this is the way it is. It's something for you to take and run with. I want you to just have a blast with it. Okay, so we covered a couple riffs and we covered our A minor scale. I hope you had a good time with it, and as you can see, you're probably progressing along pretty well. You probably have some good skills and having fun. I'm going to go ahead and throw in a little special bonus here. I'm going to throw in a little chord progression that has a riff attached to it that you can do, that you can play for your friends, for your girlfriend, for your mom, something that they'll probably like a lot. So this is the way we're going to do this. We're going to do our same scale, or our same A minor chord. our same D minor chord, our same E, but we're going to make it a little fancier by adding a couple of cool things. So here we go, back to the A minor scale. If you remember earlier in a previous lesson, we went 1 and 2 and then filled in with the riff. So this is what the riff is going to be. So I'm going double time. It's going to be a little tricky, but just practice it. So I went E, E, F, E, G, F, E, D. So it's okay, so what I did for the second part, I'll review the first part again. I went. When I landed on that note, that was the downbeat of the D. So I went. So I just went F, F, G, F, and then we're going to jump up to the high A. Okay, so. Okay, so it's basically like the first one we did in the very beginning, but it's a little bit quicker and it sounds a little cooler, so I'll do it again. Okay, so again, practice really slow, make up your own riffs, but use that and have fun with it. Even say you made it up, I don't care. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, again, I'm Anthony. Thank you for checking out PluckPro's Complete Guitar Course for Beginners. Have a good time and have lots of practice.